Stand before the mirror, not like you used to, not in passing, not with judgment, but with reverence, with stillness, with awe. This is not glass. This is not a surface. This is a veil. And today, you are called to lift it. The mirror has been misnamed. It is not a tool of vanity. It is a silent altar, a sacred gate, a portal carved not by man, but by the invisible architect. That face, staring back at you, was not randomly formed. Every curve, every line, every flicker of light in your eyes was drawn by divine intelligence. You were not assembled. You were authored, etched with intention, marked with mission. And yet, somewhere along the way, you stopped seeing it. You stood before your reflection and mistook it for a problem. You saw flaws. You saw fear. You saw delay. But you never stopped to ask, what if this is the exact face God longs to speak through? You see, the sacred law is this: God can only move where God is recognized. This is the law of recognition. To the untrained eye, a mirror is just the surface. To the awakened soul, it is a summoning place, a spiritual microphone, an echo chamber, where heaven listens back. You are not just a person in a body. You are a living portal, a temple through which light learns how to move. But you must look in order to see. You must see in order to hear. Take a breath, right now. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel the air on your skin. Place your hands on your heart. And imagine this. You are standing before the mirror, in complete stillness. No noise, no phone, no expectations. Just you, and the divine within. You, waiting to be recognized. The silence isn't empty. It's a chamber of answers. It's where the old voices lose their power, and a new voice begins to rise. In this stillness, you realize something quietly magnificent. You were never waiting on God. God was waiting on you, to pause, to look, to speak with sacred intention, to call the light forward from behind your own eyes. Today, you make a vow, not to whisper apologies into the mirror, not to repeat the shame of yesterday, but to step into a new covenant. Say this aloud: today I look into my eyes and see a soul worthy of God's conversation. I am not a mistake to be corrected. I am a vessel to be awakened. The mirror is no longer a judge. It is my divine witness. It reflects not my flaws. It reflects my readiness. You are ready now, to speak what you once held back, to call forward what fear kept hidden, to declare not from the surface, but from the spirit. This moment is no small ritual. It is a turning of the key. And once turned, it cannot be unturned. Once seen, it cannot be unseen. Once spoken, heaven must respond, because the divine always answers a voice that dares to recognize its own light. Let this be the beginning, not of self-love alone, but of divine dialogue. Let your reflection become your sacred partner, not a stranger, not an enemy, but a holy mirror that finally speaks back. Now breathe again, and prepare, because in the next moment, you will learn how to speak into the mirror with words that carry the weight of heaven. And when you do, God will not remain silent. God will echo back through the reflection you finally dared to believe in. Look into the mirror now, not as a critic, not as a judge, but as one standing before a sacred veil. A veil that thins the moment you speak the truth of who you are. This is not a reflection of flaws. It is a portal waiting to be opened by the sound of your own voice. Florence Scovel Shinn taught, the words you speak are not mere descriptions. They are decrees, commands, keys that unlock chambers within your soul. The subconscious does not argue. It obeys. It does not question your worth. It takes your word and makes it flesh. So ask yourself, what have you been commanding with your casual confessions? What world have you spoken into existence by habit, by hurt, by hesitation? When you look into the mirror and whisper, I am not enough, the field listens, and it aligns. When you ask, why am I still stuck? The field responds not with judgment but with more of the same, because your word became law. And law does not bend without intention. But there is a deeper truth waiting, not in correction, but in remembrance. You are not here to fix a broken self. You are here to awaken a divine one. The mirror is not glass. It is the gateway to your divine assignment. Your features were carved by the invisible architect. Every line, every light in your eyes, every breath in your chest is part of a holy design. So speak to it, call it forth, tear the veil with truth. Instead of asking, why am I like this? Declare, there you are, Holy One, I remember you. Say it again, there you are, Holy One, I remember you. Let your voice become the tuning fork of your soul. Let it ring through the mirror and break the pattern of silence that shame created. This is the law of recognition. God flows where God is seen, not where you plead, not where you compare, but where you recognize the divine already planted within. So today, change the language of your mirror moments. Instead of "I hate my body," say, "My body is the temple through which divine life moves." Instead of "I look tired," say, "These eyes have seen storms and still sparkle with knowing." Instead of "I can't," say, "I am," the evidence of a plan greater than fear. The field around you does not need convincing. It needs clarity, and clarity begins with naming. Here are sacred affirmations you can try right now. Say them slowly, with your hand on your heart, looking into your own eyes. I speak only what I want awakened. My reflection is not an enemy. It is a sacred ally. The divine blueprint in me is rising now. I no longer narrate my limitations. I narrate my rebirth. God in me sees God in the mirror. Feel the shift, not in the words alone, but in the silence that follows them. That pause is where the power takes root. That breath is where the veil begins to move. Your inner dialogue becomes the architecture of your life. What you permit yourself to speak is what you grant permission to live. Speak to the divine, not to the doubt. Speak to the wholeness, not to the wound. Because the mirror does not lie. It multiplies. Whatever energy you give it, it reflects back with more. This is not performance. It is remembrance. You are not building a better version of yourself. You are calling back the original, the radiant. The God-breathed. Speak with reverence. Speak with knowing. Speak with the tone of someone who is no longer hoping but already hearing. Now breathe. Hold that gaze. Let your next words rise from your core like a prayer returning home. Let them declare, "I see you, and I'm ready to rise with you." The veil is thinner now, and the next time you speak, it will not be an echo. It will be God, speaking back. There is a law older than time and quieter than the breath between prayers. It is the law of permission, and it governs far more than most people realize. You are not waiting on God. You are not waiting on fate. You are waiting on your own permission. You are the gatekeeper of divine flow, not by force, but by reverence. Whatever you honor, you allow. Whatever you disrespect, you deny. Florence Scovel Shinn said that your word is your wand, but what many miss is this: the wand responds not just to language, but to reverence. When you speak without belief, your words return empty, but when you speak from sacred recognition, heaven moves. So the question becomes not "is it possible," but "do I permit it?" Not "will God bless me," but "have I honored the blessing?" The mirror you see is not glass. It is a gate, and like every sacred gate, it opens only with respect. If you stand before it and see flaws, the gate remains locked. But when you speak to the divine within the image, the lock clicks open. Try this. Stand before the mirror tomorrow morning. Breathe slowly, and instead of scanning for imperfections, offer recognition. Say, "I honor the divine blueprint within me. I see the sacred design beneath every cell. I allow love to flow because I no longer resist myself." These are not hollow affirmations, they are sacred keys, because the subconscious mind is an altar, and that altar only accepts offerings of truth. You cannot lie to your soul and expect liberation. You cannot curse your image and expect blessing, and you cannot disown your design and expect destiny to unfold. The law of permission says, what you bless, you magnify. What you deny, you restrict. So if you want to unlock healing, you must stop naming yourself as broken. If you want to attract love, you must stop calling yourself unworthy. If you want abundance to move, you must stop speaking from scarcity. This is not about ego. It is about honor. This is not about pretending. It is about seeing truly. God does not enter through shame. The divine enters through honor. Your mirror is not looking for perfection. It is looking for recognition. See the difference. One says, "Why am I like this?" The other says, "There you are, radiant one. I've been waiting to remember you." The first question blocks. The second opens. One contracts the gate. The other swings it wide open. This is your practice. Each morning, for 1 week, stand before your reflection and honor it. Not with performance, with presence. Say, "Today, I permit the divine to move through me. I honor what I once rejected. I allow beauty to rise where I used to curse. I open the gate, and I step through." Then write. In a journal, answered this. What divine traits can I name in my reflection today? Is it strength? Is it softness? Is it resilience shaped by fire? Is it the light behind your eyes that still burns, despite everything? Right until the gate creaks open. Right until the mirror looks different. Right until you see not just a face, but a calling. Because the mirror has never been about your skin. It has always been a screen where your soul plays its film. The moment you speak with reverence, the subconscious responds. It softens, it allows, it reprograms, because the law of permission is not a concept. It is a divine agreement between your voice and your value. Break that agreement, and you block the light. Honor that agreement, and everything flows. Let this be your moment of alignment, not by pushing, not by trying, but by naming what is already sacred within you. When you step into that mirror with reverence, the divine steps forward, and from that moment on, the gate does not close. It waits for your next offering, for your next name, for your next command. Now breathe. You have permission. You have always had it. The reflection is ready to respond, not to your fear, but to your recognition. Let us see what happens when you speak from that place. You have passed by your reflection 1,000 times, and each time, you saw less hope, less light, less of the divine design that was etched into your being before time began. You saw tired eyes and a body worn by worry. You saw what the world told you, what fear whispered, what failure framed. And so, the mirror became not a portal, but a prison, a silent witness to your forgetting. Let me tell you a story. There was a woman who walked past her mirror every morning. For years, she glanced but never looked. She fixed her hair, she adjusted her shirt, she moved on. But beneath the surface of that quick glance was a ritual of rejection. She didn't know she was bowing to an illusion. She didn't know she had cast a spell on herself called familiarity. Every glance confirmed what she thought she already knew. Not enough, too late, always tired, but one day, she stopped. Not because something outside changed, but because something inside whispered, look again. Not through the eyes of memory, but through the eyes of reverence. She looked for the first time. The mirror blinked back with grace. This is the veil we must all lift, the veil of familiarity. It covers not just our face, but our truth. You are not who pain named you. You are who God sees in you. And God never forgets. You must learn to approach your reflection with sacred curiosity, not as if you know what you will see, but as if divinity has left a new message there every morning. The law of substitution says, you cannot hold two beliefs at once. You cannot believe you are broken and believe you are divine. One will replace the other. So today, we replace judgment with awe. We trade the stale for the sacred. For 5 minutes each morning, return to your reflection as if meeting yourself for the first time. Look into your eyes and say aloud, I am not who pain named me. I am who God sees in me. This face is not tired. It is timeless. This body is not burdened. It is blessed. This life is not wasted. It is waiting to rise. You see, the mirror only reflects what your belief allows it to show. If you come in shame, it shows shame. If you come in honor, it reveals holiness. Think of your mirror as a sacred altar. What you place upon it in thought and word becomes the offering your subconscious receives. And the subconscious does not reject what you give. It accepts. It builds. It becomes . So give it gold, not gravel. Speak not the names you were given in pain, but the ones heaven whispered when you were born. Call yourself worthy. Call yourself chosen. Call yourself radiant. Imagine for a moment that your mirror is a silent gate of destiny, closed when approached, in fear, opened only by the key of reverence. This is not vanity. This is spiritual warfare. This is how you fight the fog of forgetfulness. This is how you reclaim your reflection. For you cannot rise if you keep returning to the mirror to pull yourself down. You cannot call forth greatness while rehearsing old grief. Break the spell. Let this be your turning point. Let every glance become a greeting to your soul. Let the words you speak into your reflection ripple through the corridors of creation. Say them slowly. Say them with fire. Say them until you believe, I am not who pain named me. I am who God sees in me. Now breathe. Feel the shift. Something ancient is waking up in you. And as it does, your mirror is no longer a wall. It becomes a window. You are ready now. Ready to speak into the mirror and know it is holy ground. Ready to see not what the world taught you, but what your soul has always known. The next time you stand before your reflection, Do not pass by. Stand still. Stand sacred. Because what you honor, you awaken. And what you awaken, will speak. Let the veil fall. Let the truth rise. Let the reflection become revelation. There comes a moment in the soul's journey when silence is no longer enough. Not because silence has failed, but because the time has come to speak. And not just to the world, but to yourself, to the reflection in the glass, to the presence behind your own eyes, to the God seated quietly within your being. This is the sacred moment when the mirror becomes more than glass. It becomes a temple, a sanctuary, a living altar where the divine stands ready to converse. You may have walked past it 1,000 times, seeing only shadows, fixating on flaws, noticing age or tiredness or fear. But today, everything changes. Today, the mirror becomes your ministry. Close the door, stand in front of it, let the silence settle like holy mist, and then, speak, not to your fear, not to your pain. Speak to the radiant flame that God lit inside you before time began. Say it out loud. Let your voice be the key that unlocks the silence. Let your breath carry the rhythm of heaven. Say, I am not here to survive, I am here to govern. Say, I do not speak as a beggar, I speak as one anointed by light. Say, God lives in me, and today, we speak as one. The law of the tongue, as Florence Scovel Shinn taught, is not a soft law. It does not bend to doubt. It responds to fearless statements, declarations made from within the throne room of your spirit. When you speak from the God spark, the universe listens. But more than that, something inside you shifts. You'll notice it, a pause in your breath, a rise in your spine, a sudden stillness in your chest as if heaven leaned in to hear more clearly. That is not your imagination. That is resonance. That is your divine inheritance, stirring from slumber. The mirror is not just a surface. It is a sacred screen that reflects your frequency. When you speak from faith, it echoes faith. When you speak from fear, it echoes fear. And when you speak from the holy place within, it echoes eternity. So now, make the mirror your cathedral. Let it become your altar of dialogue. Every morning, speak not to fix what is broken, but to awaken what is whole. Declare the truth that lives beyond appearances. Say, I am not who this world named me. I am who God sent me to be. Say, I walk with sacred fire. I speak with sacred power. Say, today, I rise not in reaction, but in revelation. Practice this as ritual. 5 minutes, alone, uninterrupted. Let your voice become your spiritual instrument. Let your eyes become your sanctuary, doors, and speak with the understanding that the one who listens is not out there. He is within you. She is within you. God is within you. As the dialogue deepens, you'll begin to hear responses, not in words, but in awareness. A sudden calm, a divine instruction rising like warmth in your chest. An inner knowing that says, keep going. You are not alone. You never were. This is the divine dialogue. And it only begins when you stop waiting to feel worthy and start speaking from the truth of who you are. You are not trying to impress God. You are revealing God, through your tone, through your truth, through the sacred vibration of your voice. And when the tears come, let them. They are not signs of weakness. They are sacred water, cleansing the old story, baptizing the new one. End each conversation not with desperation, but with devotion. Place your hand on your heart. Look into your own eyes, and whisper the truth you wish the world had always spoken over you. Say, I was always enough. Say, I am already chosen. Say, my voice is a divine key, and today, I turn it. Breathe, stand tall, feel the air shift around you. The mirror is no longer cold glass, it has heard you. And God, through it, has answered. The sacred conversation has begun, and from this moment forward, you will never speak alone. The veil has lifted, the voice has risen, the gate to inner rulership opens next. When the world quiets, when the rush fades, when even your thoughts begin to whisper instead of shout, there is a sacred moment that opens like a hidden door. This is the hour you've been waiting for. Not just to sleep, but to speak, to plant, to create, because the night is not an ending. It is a beginning, disguised in darkness. A holy place where your words bypass the noise of the day and fall straight into the soil of the soul. Florence Scovel Shinn called this the law of divine timing. It is not just about patience, it is about knowing when the veil between the conscious and the infinite becomes thin enough to pass through with only a whisper. And that time is now, not tomorrow, not when you're ready, but now, while the stars are listening and your spirit is finally still enough to hear God breathe back. You've spoken into the mirror before, but not like this, not at this hour, not with this kind of reverence. Tonight, you don't just speak to your reflection. You step into your divine chamber. You become both priest and prophet of your own transformation. And the mirror becomes your altar. So here is your ritual. It is not complicated, because truth never is. Stand before the mirror in dim light. Not darkness, not brightness, just enough light to see the outline of your becoming. Look into your eyes until the outer self disappears, until you no longer see your face, but the spark of God behind it. Then speak, one line, one truth, one sacred decree. Repeat it not with force, but with faith, until your body softens, until your breath steadies, until something inside says yes. Yes, this is who I am becoming. You can begin with these. I am not my fears. I am the flame that dissolves them. I am not waiting for my power. I am living it now. God moves through me as unstoppable favor. Don't rush. This is not a habit. This is not positive thinking. This is not something you tick off your list before bed. This is holy ground. You are speaking into the womb of your own becoming. And every word carries divine DNA. Remember Florence's truth. Your word is your wand. But wands only work when wielded with belief. So don't speak mechanically. Speak mystically. Let the rhythm rise from your heart. Let it echo through the silence. This is the hour when the subconscious opens her hands, and every sentence becomes a seed. So plant carefully. Speak only what you want to grow. If doubt comes, let it, but do not stop. Your flame is stronger than the fog. This mirror ritual is your firelight in the night. Each night you return to it, the soil becomes richer, the belief deepens, the veil thins further, until one night, it will no longer feel like you are speaking alone. You will feel something else, a shift, a response, a sacred nod from the invisible. The divine dialogue will have taken root, so begin tonight. Even if your voice trembles, even if you don't feel ready, especially then, let this be your ceremony, your reset, your divine appointment, because the mirror is not just reflecting who you are, it is revealing who you were born to be. And when you speak with reverence, when you speak with rhythm, when you speak with the authority of the soul, God listens, not as a distant force, but as the presence within the silence, the echo behind your voice, the breath behind your becoming. This is your sacred mirror hour. Use it wisely. Speak only what you want to meet in the morning. And when your head touches the pillow, know this: what you declared tonight will rise before the sun. It is already moving. It is already unfolding. It is already done. Let the silence, now, carry your prayer. Let the dark become your fertile ground. Let your words become worlds. And prepare to meet your answered self. Now the soil has been seeded, the spirit is aligned, and the divine response is near. When the outer world begins to reflect the new order you've spoken into the night, there will come a night when your voice trembles as you speak into the mirror. The words you once declared with power may feel foreign, fragile, even foolish. Your eyes may blur with unexpected tears. Your chest may tighten with memories you buried long ago. And in that sacred silence, you might ask yourself what's happening. To me, this is not failure. This is not regression. This is the sign that the old is dying. When resistance rises, it means the lie is losing its grip. The subconscious, long shaped by fear, shame, scarcity, is being reprogrammed, and like a vine pulled from deep soil, it does not release without protest. Grief, doubt, and guilt often surface not because you're doing it wrong, but because you're finally doing it right. You are pressing into the hardened clay of old identity, softening it with light. And it hurts because truth is not always gentle, but it is always healing. Florence Scovel Shinn taught, truth has no opponent but habit, and habit does not go quietly. It argues, it clings, it disguises itself as your voice and whispers, "You're not worthy. You're pretending. This is silly." But listen closely. That voice is not the divine. That is the ghost of an old agreement, trying to renew its contract. You do not owe it your allegiance. When you feel resistance, let it rise like steam from a healing spring. Do not flinch. Do not retreat. You are not breaking down. You are breaking open. The mirror is not your judge. It is your witness. It does not reflect your flaws. It reflects your freedom being born. Breathe with me now. In through the nose, hold out through the mouth. Again. Let the breath remind you this moment is safe. This space is sacred. You are not alone. If tears come, let them fall like holy rain. They cleanse, they baptize, they water the seeds of truth you've planted. They mean you are alive to your own becoming. Say this softly as you breathe. I am not the pain I remember. I am the truth I now choose. I am not my history. I am heaven's current expression. I am not broken. I am breaking free. And if the night feels too long, whisper this ancient promise. Though weeping may endure for a night, joy comes in the morning. Say it until your spirit starts to hum with its rhythm. Say it until your doubt loosens its grip. Resistance does not mean stop. It means transform. Imagine your soul like a room being renovated. The furniture of fear is being hauled out. The dust of doubt is being swept away. And though it looks messy mid-process, something beautiful is unfolding. Florence would remind you, your word is your wand. And when you speak into the mirror, even through the tears, you are casting spells of divine order. You are dismantling every agreement made in fear. You are rewriting your script with sacred ink. So here's what to do when resistance rises. Stand anyway. Speak anyway. Feel anyway. Breathe deeply. Let the fear burn away without needing to fix it. Let the shame dissolve under the light of awareness. Let the mirror remain your sacred companion, not your enemy. You are not meant to avoid these moments. You are meant to alchemize them. You are becoming fluent in the language of your soul. When the storm swells, become still inside. Place your hand over your heart and say, "This is holy ground. I will not run from myself. This is where I meet God in the honest moments." Visualize golden light wrapping around you like a soft cloak. It does not ask you to be perfect. It only asks you to be present. If you need a prayer for the moment, let this be enough. Spirit of truth, stand with me in this mirror. Shine through every lie I've ever believed. Speak louder than my fear. Let what is not mine fall away, and what is divine rise within me. You were never meant to wage war against your feelings. You were meant to witness them through the eyes of love. Let resistance be your teacher. Let emotion be your compass. Let the practice remain sacred even when it shakes you, because each night you return to the mirror, no matter what rises, you are proving to the universe, I am ready. I am available. I am true. And the moment you do that, heaven leans in closer. The gates begin to part, and your new story begins to write itself in gold. Now, breathe again. You've made it through the storm. The mirror is still here, and so are you. This is no longer a mirror. This is your altar. This is where heaven leans low to listen. This is where light drapes over the ordinary and makes it holy, not glass, but gateway, not reflection, but revelation. When you stand here, you are not speaking to your image. You are speaking to the temple that holds your spirit, and it listens. Every word you speak into this mirror enters the bloodstream like commandment. Your body is not separate from your spirit. It is the robe your soul chose, the house the divine built for your earthly walk. And now it waits. It waits for your voice, to remind it of its origin. Florence Scovel Shinn said, "The body is the subconscious mind in visible form. Every ache, every fatigue, every flicker of disease is a word repeated long enough to become form. But what has been spoken can be rewritten. What has been repeated can be reprogrammed. And that is what we do at the altar. We rewrite, we remember, we restore. The mirror becomes your priest. It hears your confession of truth. Not sin, but sacred forgetting. You confess your exhaustion. You confess your fear. And then you speak new life into the cells that heard lies for too long. Place your hands gently on your heart. Breathe. Stand bare before your own eyes, not to criticize, but to consecrate. Say this: this body is not broken, it is blessed. This skin is not flawed, it is fire-drenched fabric from the divine loom. This fatigue is not failure, it is a holy signal that I am ready for rebirth. Speak like this daily, but once a week, make it ceremonial. Light a candle if you must. Play soft music. Make the atmosphere sacred. And let this be your weekly mirror prayer of thanksgiving. Thank you, sacred body, for carrying me through the deserts I should not have survived. Thank you, lungs, for pulling in miracles even when my mind forgot they were near. Thank you, heart, for beating with rhythm even when life made no sense. Thank you, feet, for not quitting the journey I cried through. Let gratitude rush through your bloodstream like new wine. Let your voice become the healer with no medicine. Your words are the prescription. The mirror is the pharmacy. Speak to your knees like their loyal servants. Tell your stomach it is not a war zone, but a garden. Tell your spine it can rise again. Tell your skin it is not shame. It is starlight in human form, and if you are battling illness, do not beg it to leave. Command the body to remember. Speak as if you are talking to a child who wandered from home, not with rage, with redirection. Say, my cells are intelligent. They obey divine instruction. God is in my blood. Healing is not coming. It is here. This body is life. This body is order. This body is grace made flesh. If pain is present, do not fight it, but do not feed it either. Acknowledge it with the authority of one who knows it is temporary. Look in the mirror and say, you are not my identity. You are a signal. I have received the message. You may dissolve now. This is the law of substitution. What you no longer resist, you can replace. What you bless, you release. What you name rightly, you free. The body is not your battleground. It is your beloved. It is not the prison. It is the place where God meets you in form. Florence taught that the body thrives when the spirit is fed with truth, and the mirror becomes your amplifier. I return T, your echo chamber of new creation. Each word spoken into it bounces back with multiplied energy. So speak deliberately. Speak reverently. Speak as one who knows their tongue is a key, not a toy. If doubt rises mid-practice, pause. Place your hand on your chest and say, I return to knowing. I return to truth. I return to divine memory. You are not affirming blindly. You are remembering deeply. Every cell in your body was encoded with truth before fear ever touched it. This mirror moment reactivates the original code. Let this be your daily mirror declaration. My body is whole. My soul is anchored. My mind is aligned. I command the three to walk as one. And on days when nothing seems to change, say, the healing is still happening, even when unseen, even when silent. I will not forsake the altar just because the miracle is quiet, because that is the secret. The mirror does not always shout its response, but it never stays silent forever. The energy returns, the restoration arrives, and the day will come when your reflection looks back at you not in exhaustion, but in glory. When that day comes, you'll realize you didn't just heal your body, you healed your belief about your body. And that changes everything. The mirror is not a place of judgment. It is the meeting ground between flesh and spirit. It is the gate between fear and freedom. And now, you know how to use it. You've come this far not to repeat what you were, but to reveal what you truly are. Today, we crossed the threshold into a sacred covenant. Not between you and the world. Not even between you and your past self, but between you and the divine reflection that has been waiting for your return. This is the final agreement that the mirror is no longer glass. It is not a tool for vanity or judgment. It is now your holy altar, a consecrated space where truth finds a voice, where soul meets form, where you meet God. You are invited now to enter the sanctuary of self. 7 days. Each morning, before the noise of the world touches your ears. 5 minutes in front of the mirror, no performance, no pretenses, no polished words, just presence, just breath, just truth. One line, spoken with your whole being. It could be, I am the living breath of God, or, every word I speak is divine instruction, or perhaps, I am no longer afraid to be who I was created to be. Whatever it is, let it come from your depths, let it shake something ancient in your bones. Let it rise like morning light over forgotten lands inside you. This challenge is not a ritual of habit. It is a resurrection of identity. Each time you speak, you rewire. Each time you return, you remember. Florence Scovel Shinn taught the power of repetition, that spoken truth, when consistent, becomes reality. She called it divine consistency, not force, not striving, but the quiet, unwavering return to truth. Truth is not fragile, but it does require your agreement. When you face the mirror and speak the word, you become the vessel, the channel, the priest and the poet. This is the altar where heaven meets breath, where subconscious patterns bow to divine order, where you stop begging the world to change, and begin commanding your inner world to rise. Say it boldly. Say it with the trembling reverence of someone who knows angels are listening. Say it like it will echo through the halls of your future, because it will. The mirror does not judge, it receives, it remembers, it amplifies, and when your truth is spoken with authority, your body begins to align, your cells take instruction, your energy reconfigures, the mirror becomes a sacred technology, one that reflects not just your face, but your frequency. So this is your holy commission. For 7 days, return to this altar. 5 minutes of presence. 1 line of unwavering truth. No scripts, only sincerity. If doubt arises, bring it to the altar. If fear speaks, answer it with light. If fatigue tries to silence you, speak louder, in love. Because this practice is not just about healing, it is about authority. It is about remembering that you are no longer a visitor in your own life. You are the voice that shapes it. And now, I invite you to seal this with a holy contract, not for validation, not for applause, but for anchoring. Write this line in the comments. I face the mirror and find God. Let it be your signature in spirit. Let it be a declaration not to me, but to the divine within you. Seal it in writing. Then seal it in action. Because when you show up to the mirror again tomorrow, you won't be the same person. You'll be a soul who has tasted sacred power. A soul who has chosen to lead from truth, not reaction. And something beautiful will happen. You'll begin to feel yourself expand. Not just emotionally, energetically, spiritually. You'll walk differently. You'll speak with a cadence of clarity. You'll say no without guilt. You'll receive without resistance. You'll notice divine timing flowing like a current around your steps. This is what happens when you make truth your ritual. When you stop rehearsing pain and start proclaiming destiny. Let this practice become your ministry. Let it follow you through seasons. Let it be the first thing you return to when the world feels loud. It doesn't need an audience. It needs only your agreement. Because something else is happening now. Your reflection is changing. Not just in form, but in memory. The mirror will remember this version of you. The version who chose courage. The version who stood in truth. The version who no longer looked for God outside, because they found God within. Your reflection remembers your name now. It remembers your tone. It remembers your soul's decision. And every time you return to that sacred glass, you'll feel it calling you back. Back to your power. Back to your center. Back to the divine. This is the final agreement. This is where healing became identity. Where speaking became creating. Where the mirror became holy, and you became unstoppable.